That got you
Well, I can get back to that. I know what's I don't want to
Hey, Jordan. All right, good evening. Great crowd for using the balcony, that's awesome. My name is Mark Schleckway, and I have the distinct honor and privilege of being the principal here at Brandon Valley High School. Taught here 10 years, was the associate principal for 6, and just finishing up, this will be finishing up my 3rd year as principal. So, nearing 20 years in this district. The school district is near and dear to my heart, and I'm pretty protective of it, which I think you're going to hopefully understand tonight. And I think we have something special here in our school district and at Brandon Valley High School. I want to introduce some people that are over here first. Mr. Frecking is not here, so you will not see him. He is representing the administration tonight down at T, because our boys basketball team is playing down there. Mrs. Mitzi Moore, you want to step forward, Mitzi, is our associate principal that we stole from Watertown High School, a longtime administrator up in Watertown. So this is her first year with us. It has been a great addition. She handles students' last names A through K. Then Mr. Jordan Paula, he's a South Dakota native. We went to Minnesota and we stole him back. So he's new this year too. Also an associate principal that handles students' last name L through Z. So if your student's on a 504 or an IEP, those are the individuals that attend that meeting and represent the administration. Our counselors, and there's going to be 2 slides for counselors, and we'll explain it as we go, but this is where it stands right now. So if you are the last name A through G, Ms. Kara Lickness is your counselor during the registration process. If you are H through N, Mrs. Michelle Stemwell, and O through Z is Mrs. Katie Murdy. So those are the counselors that will be helping with the registration process. And if you have a question as a parent, you would email one of these 3 counselors. This is what it looks like next year. To be determined upon board approval, but I'm really confident we have been approved another counselor here at the high school, which is much needed. So the breakdown will be A through F for Ms. Lickness, Mrs. Stemino will be G through K, new counselor will be L through R, and Mrs. Murdy will handle students S through Z. And once again, we'll communicate this information this summer once we get that new counselor hired. I will put a PDF of this PowerPoint. I'll email that to you guys tomorrow. So all of our email addresses and everything will be on there. So you don't need to write any of that down. Registration dates to remember. Our counselors will begin the registration process by going over to the middle school on Friday, February 25th. So a week from this Friday. Okay? They will meet with students in Mr. Bisbee's, Mr. Zer's, and Mr. Murtha's classes. And then they're just going to give the basic registration information. Oh, I forgot to ask. How many parents in this room is this your first kid in high school? Raise your hand high. Hey, look around because there's a lot of nervous parents in here. Hey, look around. It's pretty cool. We will walk you through the process. We might share information tonight. You might be like, oh, I'm not going to remember that. We will walk you through the process. We're here to help for the entire journey. And remember, this is just the beginning of that journey, but the 4 years will go really, really fast. I promise you. So after the Friday, February 25th, the counselors will return the next Friday, March 4th. And this is to assist the students in putting the classes that they want to register for in the computer. Okay?
I'm just going to step in for a second. So
Go ahead. You're the expert. You're the one who's over there.
So when we are first in with the 8th graders, so on the 25th, they're all going to get a pink sheet like this. It's exactly like what you have, the white form that you have. Go ahead and take notes on that white form. If for some reason they lose their pink form, they end up turning in a white one, that's fine. But they will get this on Friday, the 25th, and they need to bring it back signed by you on the 4th. So that's kind of our goal right there.
Other important dates, kind of crazy thinking about this. Marching band camp starts July 25th this summer. I know they do other stuff in July, but that's the marching band camp start date. August 1st is when cheer, dance, soccer, girls tennis is going to begin. August 8th is football and boys golf. On August 11th, cross country and volleyball starts. August 9th, freshman schedule changes, but if everybody does their schedule perfect over the next couple of weeks, there will be no schedule changes. And just a forewarning, if you pick an elective and then you decide later on, example, let's say you did ag metal fabrication, but then you wanted to go to Woods 1. Okay? I anticipate it to be pretty tough to move classes once we get the registration process done and we generate schedules. The biggest reason, I'll discuss a little bit later on, but we're breaking ground on a new addition. We're in need, we're at about 100% capacity here at the high school. We're using every classroom, we're using our community room nearly every day. And so that project will begin on June 1st, and will be completed in a 12 to 13 month span. So that's just a heads up. Make sure the registration process, you register for the classes you really, really want to take. And you don't come back to us this summer if you want to change it. A big thing I want you to change, or mark, is August 10th, Freshman Unity Day. Okay, that's a day we typically get 90+% of our freshmen here. They're led through an afternoon of activities from about 2 to 7 o'clock. We feed them. The seniors are leading us through that day. Okay? So really cool, really powerful. It's one of the most powerful things we do to help freshmen, or incoming freshmen, integrate into the high school. August 24th is the first day of school. Something unique that we're in the early stages of that we hope to do is on August 17th, that's before school starts, we hope to do what's called a Linksway Power Day, which would be where students could get their computers, fill out their computer paperwork if they didn't do it online, get activity passes, do school pictures. We're trying to combine everything into a day. More information will come out on that later on, but we anticipate that to be August 17th if all goes well. Activities. Okay? We listed the start dates earlier. One of the things that is required, whether it's marching band or any of our extracurricular activities, is you have to have a physical prior to starting practice. And I believe that physical has to be dated after April 1st. So don't rush out right now is what I'm telling you to get a physical for next year. But understand you have to have a physical on file in order to participate. Getting involved in extracurricular activities, no matter what it is extremely important. So if you're you're a student sitting in here, and you maybe aren't involved in much your 8th grade year, Get involved. We have, I'm not even listing everything here. We have ping pong club. We have SAT, tattoo. I know Best Buddies started in the middle school this year. We have that up here. Get involved in whether it's peer helpers or anything. We just ask students to get involved. FFA, extracurricular activities. Okay? Research shows the students that are involved in extracurricular activities get better grades, and it's convincing. Okay? Get involved. Basic academic information. And some of you have had high schoolers before, so you understand this, but a lot of you haven't. Okay? A year-long class, such as Algebra 1, biology. Okay? If you're in the same class all year, that's considered a 1-credit class. Semester-long classes, speech, PE, geography. I'm missing one of the main freshman ones. Computers. Well, that could be either, but yeah, computers. Those are considered half-credit classes because you're only in them for a semester. A required course as we go through the night is a course that every student has to take. A great example of that, we have different options for English, but every student has to take an English course the freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. Okay? An elective is one that fulfills extra credits required for graduation, which I'll talk about here in a minute. A credit is not earned in a class with a failing grade, and I put a F there. So if a student receives a D- in a class, they do earn credit, but if the student receives an F in any given class, they do not receive credit toward their 22. And grade level placement is determined by the number of credits earned. Total credits for graduation at BVHS is 22 credits. And that may seem like a lot. I will tell you right now, we average about 25 to 26 credits that each student graduates with. Okay, so the 22 is the minimum. It is not difficult to get to 22 credits. Like I said, most students will earn many more than 22 credits. But as the counselors will say many times over the next 4 years, it's the right 22 credits. Taking PE every year, yes, you're going to earn elective credits for those classes, but it might not be the right 22. And that's what we're going to walk you through tonight. And I assure you, we walk students through it every single year. All the students are going to have plans to study. This is just in a different form, the same thing. Okay? So we require 4.5 English because we do speech separate. Okay, so there's English 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 math. Okay? We'll cover this later on, but if your son or daughter is currently in 8th grade and taking Algebra 1, we'll walk through what that looks like in high school for them. 3 social studies, 2.5 of the social studies credits are required. So every student takes U.S. history, U.S. government, geography, and world history. And then students get to pick another half credit, whether that's Hollywood versus history, or psychology, or social, or something like that. Junior, senior year, you take personal finance or econ. You take 3 credits of science. We have lots of science opportunities here. The state and BVHS require bio, physical science, and or physics. All freshmen take bio. That's an easy one for you guys to fill out. You can see it on your sheet. 1 credit of fine arts, half credit of PE, which we get out of the way the freshman year. 1 unit of CTE or world language. We'll explain that. Half a credit of computer science. We do require a half credit of health. All the students get it in the middle school. So health just goes on their high school transcript. It's not toward their 22. Okay? Once again, you guys will get, I will send this to you tomorrow. The state of South Dakota has different endorsements that students can earn. We don't spend a lot of time on this. It seems like the rules change a little bit each year. We found out actually at about 5 o'clock that one of the endorsements changed again. But certainly, all of our students are on the advanced endorsement track. Okay? That's going to be coursework consistent with wanting to attend a four-year university. Advanced career endorsement has to do with CTE, Career Technical Education. Okay? So that's classes like computers, family consumer science, woods, ag. What am I missing? What's that?
I don't know, we're talking about
You're not paying attention? Business. Okay, so lots of areas there. The change with the advanced career endorsement is you only have to take 2 classes in the same career cluster to earn that endorsement. Okay? What the endorsement means, it does go on your transcript. The state is currently working on what that'll look like. It does affect what's our school performance index in the future, because they want students to be career ready. And I will tell you, we have tons of opportunities on campus to expose students to careers as they get to their junior and senior year. Advanced honors endorsement is very similar to what's considered the South Dakota Opportunity Scholarship. Probably the easiest way to explain this is students need to take 4 years of math, 4 years of English, 4 years of science. Okay? Along with that, 2 credits in a CTE or the same world language. Okay, once again, stuff we will cover as students become registration in their sophomore and junior years. Lots of info. I am done. I am going to turn it over to Mrs. Stemlettle, who's going to start walking us through this sheet. We set up this presentation to kind of walk everybody through the top to the bottom of the sheet in hopes that you would understand it a little bit better.
If you think you're a little confused, I just found out when you did the state change those requirements, so I'm right with you. Okay, so like you said, we're going to walk you through how to fill out this sheet. If you want to take notes, that's fine. If you want to go ahead and circle, and then you want to send that with your students next week, that's okay too. It's just kind of a guide for you, because I know that this form, we've been using it for years, it makes sense to us, but that doesn't mean it makes sense to you, and I totally understand that. When you take a look at these next few slides, I want you to notice that we're going to talk about total credits. It's going to be up there in red. But in green is what we're really focused on for freshmen. So the rest of it kind of maps out what you would take for the next 4 years. So let's be honest, what you're really wondering about and really concerned about is what we're going to take next year, right? So out of those 4.5 credits you need for English, you're going to get 1.5. Most of you will get 1.5 next year. That will be one of your English 9 classes, and I'll walk you through those options. And that'll be either speech or oral interp. And that's how you're going to get your 1.5 credits of English. So here are our English options. The majority of you will take regular English 9. If you're in regular English 8, you're going to take regular English 9. We do have an option for honors English 9. This is for the student that really, really likes English, is interested in that. English is fairly easy for them. This is going to be a little bit more rigorous. The students that take 2 years of honors, we have an honors English every year, they have a better chance of getting into the college credit English class as seniors. I'm not saying that someone that doesn't take honors isn't going to get in, but every year we have more and more students, so we have to eliminate some that are allowed to take that class. And it's happening to be those people that didn't take 2 years of honors. So if you want to take that college credit when you're a senior, your best chance is to take at least 2 years of honors. Honors 9 would be your first chance. If you don't know, students, talk to your English teacher. They're going to have a good idea of whether you're ready for that jump or not. This is what I would say, and this comes from my years of teaching English in this district. Whether you jump into honors from 8th grade to 9th grade, or you jump in there, you wait until your sophomore year, it's going to be a transition whenever you do it. It's going to be more rigorous. The stories you're going to read on your own. You're going to have to do some literary analysis. I'm not saying that to scare you, I'm just saying that it's going to be a transition whenever you take that. English 9R is going to be for the students that are currently in the Read 180. Those are students that need more assistance with reading, so we're going to make sure that they get that going into high school. Along with that class, there's also a read class. And so they actually are going to have 2 Englishes. That read becomes an elective But we're going to really make sure that they have those foundational skills so that they do well further on in high school. If your son or daughter is in that read class as a freshman, that there isn't one as sophomores, they might be in English 10R, but there won't be that reading component. So you will have time in your schedule to get other electives. All right, so if we were in the classroom, we would have the students now look at the top part of the sheet there. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to circle which English class that you want your son or daughter in, or that you are choosing. If you are in that English R, then you would just write it in. So this is kind of how this goes. All right, moving on to science. I'm going to make it real easy for you. Everybody takes biology. So you'd circle biology. Okay, we'll go on to math. Math isn't quite as simple, but students, you can help your parents out because you know what math you're in right now. And if your students aren't with you, you can go home and have that conversation. Our options for math. Students, you're either going to be in Algebra 1, Algebra 1A, or Geometry. Those are the options as a freshman. The rest of them are going to be taken later on in your high school career. So we've talked to the middle school math department. So this is kind of how it works. If you're in 8th grade math now, you will register for Algebra 1 next year. If you're in 8A math, you'll register for Algebra 1A, which you actually might have to write in there. I don't know if that's one of the options to circle. If you're currently in Algebra 1 right now as an 8th grader, you will register for Geometry. But there's a little bit more you have to do. Students that want to have that Algebra 1 on their high school transcript, they will have to pass the Algebra 1 exam at the end of their 8th grade year with an 85% or higher. Register for Geometry anyway. You're not going to know this when we come in next week and talk to you about your classes. If for some reason you don't pass that test, we will move you out of there and we'll put them in Algebra 1. We have had students get a decent grade in Algebra 1, pass the test, and still request to go back in Algebra 1 at the high school level, and that's fine. We will do that as well. Students passing the semester 2 exam but have grades of B- or lower, they might want to retake that. Just to make sure you get that foundation. All students are going to end up taking Algebra 2 in a couple years, so we want to make sure they understand that material. Okay?
Just a quick heads up out, so if you take Algebra 1 as an 8th grader, and that goes on your transcript, you might have said this, that goes on your transcript, that does not count toward your 3 math in high school. Okay, so you can't take Algebra 1 as an 8th grader, Geometry as a 9th grader, Advanced Algebra as a sophomore, and say, I got my 3 math. You need 3 math credits while in high school, 9th grade or above.
Sounds like you just teach math.
I did.
So on that sheet, you would just circle either Algebra 1 or Geometry. If it's Algebra 1A, you're going to just go ahead and write that in. So now Mrs. Murray is going to do the next section with you.
Okay, we're going to talk about the next 2 rows. This is where your students have a couple options. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the PE and computer science. Both of these classes are required for graduation and will earn half a credit for each. So if we're looking at that 4th row, students will circle these depending on their last name. So if your last name is K through Z, you're going to take PE first semester. If your last name is A through J, you're going to take it 2nd semester. For computer, we do have some options, just depending, students, on what you're interested in. So Mr. Schleppman is going to talk about this a little later, but you're all going to get math books in the high school, and so you might be a little nervous and you might want to just take a basic computer class, and that basic computer class would be computer apps. The other option option would be digital productions. If you're interested in video production or graphic design, this might interest you. New this year, this coming year, we're pretty excited. Programming 1 is going to be offered, and it's a full year. So to back up, to take Programming 1, you also have to be taking geometry. Okay, so if you didn't circle geometry for grade 9, you would not be able to take Programming 1. How Programming 1 will look on this sheet, it's kind of up to you, but what I would suggest is in that blank row, you would write Programming 1 with an arrow, and you're just going to find a semester-long elective, and this is going to talk about a little later, to put in the computer blank. Okay, students will talk more about this when we're in the class next week. Okay, so within those 22 credits, Mrs. Stumble will discuss this a little bit, but we do require freshmen to take speech or oral and Turk, where they will earn half a credit. So, oral and Turk is only offered in the fall, so that's something just to keep in mind when you're circling and deciding what to take. If you take oral and Turk in the fall, then you will just take geography. We'll get to that second semester. The big thing with oral and Turk is you will need to compete in 4 area knowledge competitions. Okay? So there are some out-of-school requirements in order to take oral and Turk and pass oral and Turk. And then oral and Turk can be taken more than once if you're really interested in it, just like band, choir, orchestra. You can take it every year of high school if you want to. So let's look at that sheet again. If you want to take oral and Turk, you will take it first semester, no matter your last name. Okay, and then we'll get to geography, but then you'll take geography second semester. If it doesn't matter and you don't want to take oral and Turk, you'll just circle speech based on your last name. Okay, so getting back to those 22 credits, geography is required and all freshmen will take geography. Freshman year, let's look at what that looks like on the form. So again, this is another one based on your last name. You will circle it and go from there. Just like that.
Okay, so now we are finally to the last 2 rows, which is the fun part of the sheet because you actually get some choice here now. So, taking a look at the last 2 rows there, blank, please use the above instructions that we've kind of gone through as a guide because you'll notice that we do not want you to put something in the year-long box, the semester 1 and the semester 2. So here is where you get to pick some options, but you're either choosing a year-long option and nothing in semester 1 and semester 2, again, kind of drawing that arrow over, or you are picking a semester 1 class and a semester 2 because your schedule will need to balance itself. So those options are listed directly below those boxes. So if you look directly down on your sheet, you will see year-long course options, semester 1 course options, and then semester 2 course options. The first thing we like all of our freshmen to think about is, do you want to take a study hall? And for some of you, you might be contemplating that, not sure. Some good reasons to consider a study hall would be, maybe you're going to be involved in some activities. Coming to the high school is a transition, and so being able to have time to have a break during your day, to be able to work on your homework, especially if you're involved in activities, it's a good idea to consider at least possibly taking a study hall. Study hall is an option that could be for 1 semester. It could be for both semesters or the year long, okay? We do not have study halls listed as an option below. All you simply need to do is write study hall in the box that you wish to take it. So if you want a year-long study hall, you can write that in the year-long column and draw your arrow over. If you'd like just 1 semester study hall, maybe you're participating in band and you know the fall of your year is going to be a lot more busy than the spring, and you want to have a semester 1 study hall, but not a semester 2, then you would simply put study hall under the semester 1 box, and for semester 2, you would find a class below. Lunch. All freshmen are required to take lunch. Oh, I should backtrack one more second. Back to study hall. Just remember, study hall does not earn you credit, unfortunately. But it is possible to take a study hall every year and still get to that 22 number. So if you need a study hall, it's an okay thing. Lunch. All freshmen are required to take lunch. It is not listed on your sheet. If you count up those rows, you will count up 7 different rows. That 8th row is going to be lunch. We're going to get you all in lunch, so don't worry about that. When you come to register you on the computer, everybody will get lunch. Okay, so for those year-long options, one of the items we want to discuss is music placements. So freshmen, if you are interested in choir, you should register for the code up in green there. It's that links Y. If you're interested in band, you'll see the code in green up there as well, that band 1Y. Again, as a reminder, all freshman band students will be participating in marching band. Okay? If you're interested in orchestra, you'll also see the code there as well under the year-long course options. Students can take more than one music options. I know sometimes we have students who participate in band and choir. Maybe they're a choir and orchestra student. That is possible. So sometimes it might be taking one of those semester classes that Mrs. Birdie was discussing and maybe waiting a year to take those. That's okay. If you have questions about that, just reach out and we will help guide you on how to fill that out on your form. As well as students, you do not have to take a music class. If you are maybe not interested in the band, choir, orchestra, there are other options to fulfill that 1 credit requirement for your fine arts. And you'll note that there are some classes in semester 1 and semester 2, like Art 1, that's a fine art class that you could opt to take instead. Okay, so back on your form, again, those year-long course options for the music are highlighted there for you. Next is world languages. Those are options under the year-long category. We offer 2 world languages. We have Spanish and also American Sign Language. Spanish, we offer up to 4 years. American Sign Language, we offer up to 3 years. This is important because I think there's some misinformation out there. World language is not a requirement for high school graduation, nor is it a requirement to get into a South Dakota college. So we do encourage students to take 2 years of world language if they are interested in pursuing education outside of the state of South Dakota. So once you graduate from high school, if you're interested in pursuing some out-of-state schools, we can't always guarantee that their requirements won't be different. And so if you are considering that option, it may be a good idea to look at 2 years of a world language. Again, not a requirement for a high school diploma or for South Dakota colleges. In order to register for one of those options, a student does need to have a C- or better in both semesters of the previous English course. So pay attention to what you're getting in your English classes right now, because if you don't have a C- or better, you don't want you to be registering for those world language options. All right, and those are highlighted there underneath the year-long, again, where the world language options would be. If you're not interested in any of those year-long options, then you would opt to go and look under semester 1, find a course, put it under the semester 1 box, and then also find a course for semester 2. Sometimes a common mistake we might see is a student will register for Art 1, semester 1. They'll also pick Art 1 for semester 2. It's the same class, it's not repeatable, so make sure that the semester 1 and the semester 2 choice options, if that's the route you go, are different classes. Then, one last piece at the very, very bottom, there's a box that says, if a class I pick above does not work, my alternates are. We do want you to list options there, because if plan A doesn't work out, or we can't make a class that you're requesting work, we do want to know what's the next best option for you. If you leave it blank, then your counselor or one of the administrators will pick a class. So don't give us that option. Make sure you fill that out for yourself.
Course descriptions for all those classes are on the counselor's website under registration. So you might be like, what is this class? What are they going to do in the class? There's course descriptions for every single class on that, on the bottom of this list.
And when we come into the classrooms on the 25th, we will guide students exactly where they need to go to find that information. There's a booklet just for the freshmen to be able to explore then what those course descriptions are, what they would be doing in the courses that they're choosing.
All right, we're on the home stretch here, and then we'll have some time for any questions that you might have. We are, as we said earlier, we are a one-to-one school. We're a little different than the middle school because we are a math book air school. So every student will receive a math book. If you do not have experience with Apple or Mac, you'll be fine. We'll walk you through it. Our freshman teachers are amazing at showing you what the device can and can't do. And that's part of our curriculum early on in the semester. All freshmen, all incoming freshmen start in what's called Student Responsibility Period, SRP. It's a little mini study hall at the end of the day. Freshmen can earn their way out of that. So at midterm of first quarter, students that have D's or higher earn their way out of SRP. If you have a D- or F, you stay in SRP. We went to SRP a number of years ago. The biggest benefit we have is that all of our teachers are available for one-on-one help during that time. So if you are a student that struggles with math, you can go get help from your math teacher during this time. Even if you're assigned to an SRP, you can get a pass and check out and go to that teacher to get individualized help. We don't allow practices to start early. If one of our teachers is coaching, the only way they are allowed to leave is if they're going to a contest that's out of town and they're not available. So all of our teachers are available for one-on-one help during this time. If a student earns their way out of SRP, they still have access to their teachers during this time. If they have great grades and don't need any help on any given day, they do not need to report to a teacher during that time. Okay, buses still run at normal times. We found this to be super beneficial for those students that are in a ton of activities and might need a little extra help from their teachers. Parking for 2022-23. I can't really announce anything yet. I'm not sure what the status of that is, primarily because of this. This will be the new east side of our building that we will break ground on June 1st is our hope. Okay, so we are doing a 21 classroom addition. That'll be pretty significant here, but as you can imagine, it's the Pizza Ranch side. Anything to the east of this building will not be available for parking next year. It'll actually all be shut down. We will have a one-way out. You guys are going to see some really cool videos from us this summer explaining how we're leaving this place, how we're coming into this place. But we've already been working on plans for months on what next year will look like. The good news is, we hope to this spring, this is why I can't tell you whether we will have parking available for freshmen yet or not. We're breaking ground this spring on a parking lot expansion. It'll be next to the McGreevy building, the current band practice field. It's going to be a dual purpose area. So my hope is when it's all said and done, we have about the same amount of parking, which would then allow us to have probably a lottery basis for freshman parking. We will communicate that early on what that looks like. Once I get word and we've approved the bidding process for the addition of the parking lot, I'll have a better idea of when that will be completed. We've been assured that the parking lot should be completed in June, but we don't know. So I'm just going to kind of be a wait game on that. So parking will be to be determined. If freshmen are allowed to purchase parking passes, they usually park at the central office, which is across the highway, and then use the stoplight to come across. We have about 100 parking spots over there. Okay, it's around next to ACE. That's all our land, that parking just to the north of ACE. Once again, more information on that. Final note. Reminder, February 25th, counselors will be at the middle school. March 4th, they'll return for registration. August 9th, freshman schedule changes. I probably over-communicate to you guys in the summer, but I will continue emailing in the summer to keep you updated. I really, if at all possible, try to have your student available on August 10th for Freshman Unity Day. Impactful and powerful. August 24th is the first day of school. Any quick questions? We have a couple minutes before I let us all go. We will all be available in the comments afterwards for individual questions. If you have any individual questions for us, Mr. Nettestead would like to meet with 8 students that are parents that are currently in 8th grade band, correct? Or considering taking band in high school. He wants to go over a number of items with those that are interested in band once we are done. Any quick questions before I dismiss you? Freshman Unity Day parents, you guys are invited back. I put a bunch of seniors in front of you and you can ask them anything they want. That'll be more valuable than this. Thank you for coming. We look forward to getting to know you over the next 4.5 years. Have a great evening. Band will meet in here in just a couple minutes.
I know.